Welcome to your July horoscopes. It's going to be a crazy month where a lot of stuff is happening. We have Uranus changing signs into Gemini. So July is a month 16-7. It represents the Tower in the tarot cards and also represents unexpected events, shocking events, which is very much tied to the fact that Uranus is changing signs into Gemini. On a collective level, we can experience a lot of new changes, a lot of shocking events happening around the world. Changes with the law, changes within the stock market. Month 7 is about going within, study, knowledge, self-improvement. It's all about introspection. You may even feel like you want to cut people out of your life or even get rid of things that no longer serve you, are no longer aligned to your highest good. And that 7 energy is really following us everywhere. 7 can also mean betrayal in relationships. And in astrology, we have Saturn and Neptune in Aries squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And this is going to bring up a lot of frustrations, a lot of maybe even leaving things or people behind in order to focus on what is most important. And situations can arise that make us change, make us do something about the frustrations. July 4th, America's birthday, we're going to have Venus conjunct Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus, and this can mean huge changes with money, finances, the stock market, as well as personal relationships. We can be falling in love, or there could be things revealed to us that were kept from us. Uranus is like that shocking change energy, so there could be a lot of changes within romantic relationships at the time. On the same day, Venus will also enter Gemini, and Neptune will station retrograde in the sign of Aries. July 7th, Uranus will enter the sign of Gemini. So there's going to be huge changes happening in the area of life where you have Gemini. If you have personal planets in the sign of Gemini, especially the very early degree from 0 to about 3 degrees of Gemini, or if this is an important part in your chart, then you can expect huge changes, and Uranus can bring in new life. It wants to free you from something and bring in something new. It wants you to show up in an authentic way and display your authenticity. There could be a lot of downloads coming to you about what you should be doing. You could be falling in love, moving, changing jobs. Uranus is very unpredictable, but also very exciting. So lots of new changes, and we're going to see worldwide changes too. July 10th, there is a full moon in the sign of Capricorn where something is coming to fruition. In June, there was a new moon in the sign of Cancer, and now we are coming full circle and you are bringing something to fruition. In the area of life that you have Capricorn, Saturn will station retrograde in Aries right there with Neptune. So we are really going within in the month of July, which is really bringing me back full circle to that big 7 energy that we are having with the numerology, with the tarot card. We are really rethinking everything with so many planets going retrograde in July and it being a month 7, a month of reflection, introspection. With Mars being in the sign of Virgo, where the South Node is, this can also lead to a lot of inner frustrations within us, a lot of things that we need to rethink, change. And July 18th, Mercury will also station retrograde at 15 degrees of Leo. And that's important because we had that Mars retrograde in the sign of Leo and Cancer, and now Mercury is retrograding in the sign of Leo. So a lot of planets are turning retrograde in July. July 22nd, the sun will enter the sign of Leo. July 24th, we have a new moon in the sign of Leo, where you will be initiating a new beginning in wherever you have Leo in your chart. July 30th, Chiron is going retrograde at 27 degrees of Aries. And this can be us going within, really going over our hurts, our pain, whatever is causing us blockages in life, and try to figure out how to heal. This can be a very healing month for those of us who are really going within and really analyzing what it is that we need to change, what it is that we want to change. July 30th, Venus will enter the sign of Cancer. This is where Jupiter is, and in June, where the new moon was. So a lot of new beginnings, blessings coming into the sign of Cancer in your chart. If you find these videos helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. I will have all the signs timestamped down below. Aries, July is a packed month. First off, your ruler, Mars, is in the 6th house all month hanging out. And this is also where we have the South Node. So there's going to be a big emphasis on work, money, obligations. Some of you could be getting rid of employees that are not good. And this could be a time where co-workers can get on your nerves really all month long. This month, you could be working on paying off your debts, getting organized, or maybe kick-starting a good health regimen. July 4th, Uranus and Venus come together at the end of your 2nd house, and there could be surprises when it comes to finances, when it comes to romance. Venus will be in Gemini, your 3rd house, most of the month. So a lot of the things that will bring you joy is outings with friends, chit-chatting online, talking to friends, just mingling with other people. A lot of communication for you, Aries. Neptune will also start retrograding in Aries, as will Saturn, right there in your sign. So you're going to be going within and really thinking about your life and the people in it. A lot of introspection is really required for all of us this month. But at the same time, on the 7th, Uranus is going into your 3rd house. And this can mean that you could meet somebody in your town, or maybe your sibling introduces you to somebody that you start having a romantic relationship with, because that's where Venus is. If you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees Gemini, Uranus will be making a conjunction. This could be huge, unpredictable new beginnings in your life. If you have planets from 0 to 3 degrees in Sagittarius, then Uranus will be opposing those. And if you have personal planets in Pisces or Virgo from 0 to 3 degrees, then Uranus will be squaring off with those, forcing a lot of either forced change, wanted change, exciting change into your life. And for you, this is the 3rd house. Your town could be changing. Relationship with your siblings could be changing. Your presence online could be changing, and new skills. This is a time where you're going to get creative downloads. And if you are in a creative field, this is really excellent for you, because a lot of you can actually be starting to maybe promote yourself a little bit more, put yourself out there online, on social media, and of course, traveling and exciting trips. But over the course of the next 7 years, Uranus will introduce you to new skill sets. July 10th, we have a full moon in Capricorn. And in June, we had a brand new beginning, a new moon in the sign of Cancer, your 4th house. Now we are coming full circle, and you are completing something in the area of your life where it rules your career and your public image. Some of you could be leaving a job, getting a promotion, thinking about getting a new job, or you are releasing something out into the world. So this is all about your career and you leaving something behind, maybe going for something better, or reaping the benefits of what it is that you started. Whatever it is that you started in June in the new moon in Cancer, right now you can be reaping the benefits of. And for you, this whole access has to do with your home, your family, your career, your public image. So a lot of you could be just reaping the rewards of initiating something when it comes to maybe buying a home, a car, changing a job, getting a promotion, colleagues, bosses, your superiors recognizing your hard work, your contribution, or the public really recognizing your creative efforts, especially if you own a business, you work with the public. This can be a time of rewards for you. On the 13th, Saturn will station retrograde at the very beginning of Aries, where Neptune also stations retrograde here in July. So this is a time of reflection, rethinking. And this is your 1st house. So Aries, you could be rethinking your whole life path, your job, your career, your family, where you want to live. It's a time to really go within, but this is also a time where people from the past may be reaching out to you, or you may actually be dealing with things that occurred in the past. July 18th, Mercury stations in the sign of Leo, your 5th house. And this can be rethinking things when it comes to children, how to raise children, a creative project that you are working on, rethinking your investments, where you put your money into, but more than likely it is a relationship. There can be somebody from the past that comes back into your life. You can be thinking about somebody from the past, maybe that you had a romantic relationship with. Saturn and Neptune retrograding in your first house, and Chiron will also be retrograding in your first house. Mercury retrograding in your fifth house. A lot of you might be dealing with relationships from the past, thinking about people that you used to be with. Or maybe there is a new relationship in your life and you are not sure about where it is headed, where it is going. On the 22nd, the sun will also enter the sign of Leo, your fifth house. So there is a huge emphasis on children, creativity, romance, love, or a romantic partnership. And with everything going retrograde, things can be up in the air. If you are working on a creative project, there could be a lot of things that you will need to redo before it is complete. In July, you will still very much be feeling the Saturn and Neptune square with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. So there could be issues with family members, with your path in life, frustrations coming from your place of living, where you want to live. Maybe you want to move, maybe you want to buy a house, and there could be some frustrations within you and your family. Just like June, in July, we can be really feeling this square. The square is just signifying to you that there needs to be a shift, a change. July 24th, there is a new moon in the sign of Leo. This is your fifth house of romantic relationships, children, creativity. And this is a very interesting new moon, Aries, because this is where Mercury stationed retrograde, and this is where the sun just went into at the end of the month on the 22nd. You are initiating a new beginning when it comes to children, romance, a creative project, maybe even investing your money, about having fun, a new creative hobby, a new creative outlet. And since Mercury is retrograde, this could even be you getting back together with someone from the past. New developments happening in the lives of your children, new creative projects. So there is a new beginning. So some of you may be even meeting somebody, falling in love. This is signifying a new beginning with romance, with creativity, or with children. So it's a huge month. It really is a month to go within, a month of introspection. And with your ruler in the sixth house for the month, this also means that there is a huge emphasis on health, changing your health, bettering your health habits, work, and colleagues. I hope that this was helpful, Aries. Taurus, July will start out with Uranus moving into the sign of Gemini. This is your second house of finances. And from now on, over the next 7 years, your finances could be taking a little bit of a turn. And this means they could be going up and down, or you could start finding new and interesting ways to make money. Maybe making money through metaphysical subjects, through astrology, through something completely different, completely unique to you. This can also mean you're going to be attracted to more one-of-a-kind possessions, jewelry, makeup. So you may be really completely shifting around what you want to own, what you want to bring into your environment, what you want to bring into your home. The second house rules our speech as well. So you may be more authentic right now, the way you speak, the way you talk to people. And the second house also rules the food that we eat. So a lot of you may be even switching up your diet or completely eliminating certain foods over the next 7 years. But for those of you who have personal planets from about 1 to 3 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, you guys will be undergoing new electrifying huge life changes within your personal life. So if it's Venus, it's love, relationships, and money. Your aesthetic, if it's moon, it's your home life, your family. If it's sun, think career, health, public image. And you can feel like there's literally electricity going through you if you do have planets in those degrees, in those signs, like there's a shift that is about to occur. And with Uranus, it's unexplainable. You really even cannot predict exactly what Uranus will bring into your life because it is so out of the box, so different. The energy is so different for everybody, but it will be shaking up your second house starting in July. So expect a lot of changes when it comes to the money that you make, how you make money. July 10th, we have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn, And in June, we had a brand new moon in the sign of Cancer. And that for you is the third house, siblings, community, neighborhood, skill sets. And now we are coming full circle and having a full moon in your ninth house. This could be a time where some of you publish your work, find a new teacher, or maybe this is about travel plans for you. You could be finishing up schooling, a legal battle, court case, or maybe this is a time where you are finally traveling somewhere. This can also be a breakthrough about your vision, your future plans. This for you is really about completing a course of study, finishing a book, a documentary, and deepening your understanding of yourself, your motives. July 4th, Uranus is meeting up with Venus, your ruler. And this is happening right at 29 degrees of Taurus. And this could mean an exciting new look for you. Maybe you are getting a new hairstyle or finding love. Maybe even money is coming to you, Taurus, but this can definitely mean that some of you will be finding love where you least expect it. Now, the rest of the month, Venus will be in your second house, and I can't tell you enough, this is a fantastic time to buy yourself beautiful things that you will enjoy for a long time to come. Clothing, jewelry, makeup, a really good time to go shopping and a good time to enjoy maybe going out and eating some delicious food. This is where the joy will be for the month of July for you, Taurus. July 13th. Saturn will station retrograde in your 12th house. So this may be a time where you are really rethinking everything, your whole life direction. And whenever Saturn is stationing retrograde, we are really going within. We are reevaluating all of our lessons that we just had. And this was really a month where a lot of retrogrades are taking place. So it is a month to go within. And even in numerology, it is month 7. So it is a more spiritual month, a month to learn, a month to upgrade yourself, upgrade your skills, a time to maybe have a glow up behind the scenes for you, Taurus. July 18th, Mercury stations a retrograde. It's a time to back up our data, watch out for any and all communications, and it's even a time where we might be rethinking relationships, friendships. For you, Taurus, it could even have to do with money, possessions, because Mercury does rule your second house of finances, where you have Uranus going into. So you might be rethinking how and why you want to maybe get a better job, a new job, do something completely different. So you might be feeling the spark to really move on to something else career-wise. So there's also a huge emphasis on your 4th house. This is where the sun will be entering, and this is where Mercury is stationing retrograde. So you could be rethinking where you live, moving, maybe getting a new vehicle, changing up your home decor, having to fix something at home, redo something. And a lot of you, it is moving in with somebody, something having to do with the parents, the home, the vehicle. And Mars is going to be in your 5th house for all month long. So this is a time where you're going to really focus on your creative self-expression, your creative projects, investing your money. But this is really signaling a time where a lot of you could be dating, being romantically linked with someone, maybe really thinking about a new romance, taking a new romantic relationship to the next level. And if you do have children, this is a month where they could be getting on your nerves a little bit more, or maybe there is more arguments, disagreements with your children. July 24th, there is a new moon in the sign of Leo. This is your 4th house of home, family, mother, vehicles. This is where the retrograde Mercury is happening. So towards the end of the month, maybe you had to figure different things out when it came to your vehicle, your home situation, moving, your lease, or maybe buying or selling real estate. And July 24th, there is a brand new beginning opening up in this area for you. Maybe some of you moving in with a partner, moving in with somebody, redecorating, redoing something within your home, starting something within your home. Maybe it is a home-based business. Maybe some of you welcoming a new member of the family, family gatherings happening in your home. But for a lot of you, this can definitely signify a purchase of a new vehicle, a move, a thinking about a move, maybe something new happening in the lives of your parents. And the ruler of this new moon is in your fourth house. So this is really signaling a great new beginning having to do with a lot of creativity. So if you are thinking about redoing something in your home, redecorating, this is the perfect time towards the end of July. I hope that this was helpful, Taurus. Gemini, on July 4th, we have Venus coming together with Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus in your 12th house. And this is a time where maybe you meet up with somebody from the past, or you can find love in unexpected places, even money, finances. So something could be going on happening out of the blue. July 7th, Uranus is going to enter the sign of Gemini. This is your sign. And for the next 7.5 years, you guys will be undergoing a huge transformation. And this is you, your physical body, as well as your path in life. So you could be completely changing your style, the way that you look, where and who you hang out with. So even the places you go, the people that you attract can be dramatically changing. And for those of you who have personal planets in the sign of Gemini, from 0 to 3 degrees, then you can expect even more big changes, unpredictable changes, because that's what Uranus is things happening out of the blue. If it's sun, it's health, career, male figures in your life. So even meeting somebody, falling in love. If it's moon, it is your family, where you live, and all females in your life. You can notice that females in your life are even acting up erratically. And when Uranus makes contact with the moon, you can actually be very emotionally detached. So it's easier to detach from situations that maybe previously you wouldn't want to. So there is a lot of up and down emotions that can be happening within you. If it's Venus, of course, it's love, aesthetics, and money. If it's Mercury, because you guys are ruled by Mercury, it's not only learning new skills, but again, it is your path in life, where you're going. So anything from career, love, romance, to where you're living, how you are looking. It is a huge change. And a lot of times it's very exciting, but as soon as Uranus will make contact with a personal planet, you can feel a little bit anxious even. You can feel like you don't know what's going on. And these things, these opportunities can be coming out of the blue. So be on the lookout and pay attention. And pretty much all month, Gemini, you will have the planet of love, beauty, and money, Venus, right in your sign. This is a perfect time to change up your wardrobe. It's a perfect time to get a new hairstyle. And of course, this is a time where you're going to be more magnetic, more charming. And so love can be coming to you, especially for you this month if you are wanting it. So go out there, mingle with other people, because you're going to be more magnetic, and you can find people that are a lot like you. You may have a lot of fun with a romantic partner, or just run into somebody sporadically. Maybe somebody, it just comes up to you, or you meet someone out of the blue, because of course Uranus is in your sign as well. So there is a lot of emphasis on you, how you look, and your love life. July 10th, we have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. In June, we had a brand new moon in the sign of Cancer, your second house. So now we are coming full circle and having a fruition, an ending or completion happening in your 8th house of other people's money, intimacy, occult knowledge, secrets. This can be literal or metaphorical endings. A lot of us could just be letting go of difficult situations. This may be a time where your finances or your partner's finances are affected. Reaching an agreement, especially when it comes to a contract. This may be a time where you reach out to a counselor, astrologer, accountant, a lawyer. It could be sudden material rewards, achieving a financial goal with a partner, a business partner. This can also be you letting go of past hurts or secrets being revealed to you about things that have been kept from you. or even one of your secrets being revealed. This is also a time where you may actually really benefit from connecting to occult subjects, intense research. Another thing you're going to feel all month long is the fact that you have Mars in your fourth house, and this can lead to disagreements within the home. So be careful of fights, arguments, maybe even fighting with your parents, with your loved ones at home. This can also be a sign that you will be needing to fix something within the home. Or even your vehicle, things could be breaking down and it needs to be fixed. You need to call someone to repair something, but it can bring a lot of agitation with family members. So do be cautious, be careful of that. In the beginning of the month, Neptune goes retrograde. On the 13th, we have Saturn going retrograde in your 11th house. And this is really a month of reflection, revising, going within. There could be things that you are contemplating. And for you, this could have to do with your hopes and dreams, your goals, as well as your friendships, the clubs and groups that you belong to. So there could be something that you are now aware of that you weren't aware of before. On the 16th, your ruler Mercury goes retrograde. So you may be rethinking everything in your life, your hopes and dreams, your looks, where you want to go in life, who you want to be in your life. So a lot of reflection. And Mercury will station retrograde in your third house. So this is a time where you could be rethinking the skills you need to gain, the effort you were putting out into something that you are working on. And this can, of course, also complicate things with the people in your circle as well as your siblings. But if there is anything you are working on, you're working on social media or anything like that, as with every Mercury retrograde, be flexible. Things may change, especially with that Uranus going into your sign. You really want to back up all your data and be careful with all communications. Be more cautious driving, being out and about, as you may run into things that you did not expect, you didn't plan for. Be careful, electronics might break down, and this is a time where there could be confusion with your path in life, confusion with relationships, confusion with everything, because you are going within and really reevaluating everything from love, friendships, to what you want to do, and especially your skill sets, how you promote yourself. July 24th, there is a new moon in Leo, your third house of self-effort, siblings, your neighborhood, and this is also your skill set. And this is where Mercury stationed retrograde. So there is a big emphasis on you beginning something new when it comes to your skills. Your community could be changing, something new beginning in the life of your siblings as well. But a lot of you are maybe thinking about traveling, taking a short trip, or starting something new, maybe building a website, learning a new skill. And you're going to be really focused on that towards the end of the month. I hope that this was helpful, Gemini. Cancer, on July 4th, Uranus will come together with Venus in your 11th house, both at that 29 degrees. And this is a time where maybe you meet somebody, fall in love, or some of you could get benefits, maybe more followers at the same time, or maybe some of your dreams are coming true and you guys should be actually feeling good, looking good, because we just had in June the new moon in Cancer. You are initiating a brand new beginning, and this month, this very month in July, you should be working towards that new beginning, whether it is a glow up, a beauty routine, changing up your hairstyle, or setting big goals. You can achieve anything. Jupiter is in your sign, expanding your life, your options. So do take advantage of manifesting or just putting some goals out there and actually start doing things, start doing the work. The huge thing is, of course, Uranus is going into the sign of Gemini on the 7th. This is your 12th house of your subconscious mind, your mental health. This is also the house of losses, the house of travel, the house behind the scenes. And this is a time where over the next 7 years, you are really shifting and changing, and sometimes in more unexpected ways that you did not expect. So you could get a new routine, a new solo routine is kind of what I like to call it, whether it be meditation or you finding new hobbies that you like to do on your own that really change the direction of your life. So this is also great for traveling to exotic places, meeting people from all walks of life, especially people from foreign lands. This can definitely bring in psychic abilities to you. Watch your dreams. Your dreams can literally be telling you things over the next 7 years, and you could become very, very creative. If you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees of Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, or Sagittarius, then Uranus will be making direct contact even starting in July. And this can mean things happening out of the blue. You can feel a little panicky, maybe anxious, like you can't sleep, like you're getting certain downloads, and Uranus makes things happen out of the blue. Unexpected, unexplainable, sometimes chance meetings. Say it is your Venus in the 12th house that you have. It could be that you start making more money, or it can have something to do with your beauty, your aesthetics, but mostly love, meeting somebody unexpectedly, falling in love. Big shakeups in your relationships. If it's moon, it's female figures in your life, and also feeling very detached, moving and your home life changing around. If it's sun, it's health, male figures as well as your career. But all of this can mean just sudden shifts and changes, big, huge changes in your life, especially if you do have those planets from 0 to 3 degrees of Gemini and Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. Then you can feel this very much. And Neptune is also going retrograde in the beginning of the month in your 10th house, making you maybe revise your career. But this can also be a sign that if there's been something hidden from you in your career, in your workplace, things can be revealed to you right now, so pay close attention. Venus will be in your 12th house for most of the month, and you're going to get a lot of joy behind the scenes, maybe even just vegging out in your bed through your dreams. And this is a time where maybe even love comes back from the past as well, or a relationship begins behind the scenes. This can also mean that you are working on something big behind the scenes and not telling anybody. And this may be a great idea because the first 2 weeks of July, we still have that Jupiter in Cancer square Saturn in Aries. So we've got these planets squaring off, as well as Neptune is there in your 10th house, also squaring Jupiter. And this can bring in a lot of frustrations, especially with your path in life, your career, and your image. You can be frustrated about where you are going, where you are headed. Cancer, July 10th, we have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. This is your 7th house of romantic relationships, partnerships, contracts, the house of opponents. And in June, there was a brand new beginning in your 1st house. So you are initiating a new beginning, maybe even with your image, your relationship, how you look. And now we're coming full circle and we have a full moon in your 7th house of partnerships. This can actually be an ending of an agreement, a contract, or maybe an ending with a business partner, a client, or even letting go of a relationship that is not right for you. On the same token, this can be you gaining rewards for your past efforts in the 7th house area. So this could be seeking a common ground with a partner, a business partner, or maybe even compromising with somebody who is an enemy, a frenemy, a rival. You could be overcoming the opposition at this time, whether it be through a court case or just really people that you have been at odds with. You could finally come to a conclusion you are both happy with. Romance for some of you, taking a relationship to the next level, a bigger commitment. And of course, some of you might just be letting go, releasing a relationship. All month long, you will have Mars in your 3rd house, but it is going to be such a relief because Mars has been going between your sign and Leo since last year with the retrograde. So this is going to be a big relief, but this can bring on some arguments, disagreements with siblings, even with neighbors. A lot of you will be putting a lot of effort into social media, social gatherings, maybe going out a lot more, going out in your town, or just kind of chit-chatting away even online. So you're going to be wanting to communicate a lot more with people, or maybe initiating a skill, working on a skill, perfecting a skill, trying to learn something new. July 13th, Saturn is going retrograde in your 10th house of career and public image, and this can be a time of reflection upon what you want to do career-wise, your goals. But Saturn for you also rules your 7th house of partnerships. So for you, Cancer, there's going to be a time where exes come back into your life, reach out, or you may be talking to people that you used to work with as well. So this is a big month of really reflecting, maybe even revising our plans. And for you, this is your career plans, your career goals. July 18th, Mercury goes retrograde. So as the saying goes, be careful of any and all communication. Back up your data and be flexible with your plans, because things can take a turn, so not work out in the way that we expect it to when Mercury is retrograde. With Mercury retrograding in your 2nd house, I would really hold off on any big purchases, because when Mercury goes direct, you may change your mind about what you purchased. It may not be working right. And since it's going retrograde in your house of finances, there could be things that you are going over when it comes to bills, financial matters that really need to be revised, or maybe something looked at a little bit deeper, especially when it comes to money, finances, the money that you make, the money that you spend. July 24th, we have a new moon in the sign of Leo. This is your 2nd house of finances. This could be a big purchase. Maybe you are thinking about buying something, a new job, a new source of income, or you're working on acquiring these things. Now, of course, Mercury also goes retrograde in your 2nd house, which means you are really, really focusing on your finances, on your possessions, how to make more money. And a lot of you are thinking up new ways of even making money. Huge focus on career and finances. And towards the end of the month, you will be initiating something new in this area. I hope that this was helpful, Cancer. Leo, July 4th, Uranus will be conjuncting with Venus at 29 degrees of Taurus. So there could be a surprise happening, and it could have to do with relationships, with money, especially work for you. And then we have on the 7th, Uranus moving in to your 11th house of groups, friendships, hopes, and dreams. Uranus will now be in this house for about 7 years. So it is going to change up the groups that you are interested in maybe joining online. Your followers can change as well. And this can also just change friendships overall. More unusual friendships as well can be coming to you. And with Uranus, it's so hard to tell because it's very up and down. It could actually really make things in that area very up and down. Sometimes it's great, sometimes not so much. Now, if you have personal planets in the 11th house, and right now in July, especially from 0 to 3 degrees, if you have personal planets in Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces, you're going to feel Uranus shaking things up in your life, things happening out of the blue. You can even feel a little bit panicky, like you have some anxiety, and things could be changing. So say if you have Venus there, you can actually be meeting somebody, falling in love, changing up your aesthetics. If it's Sun, you could be changing your image and maybe your health habits, as well as your career aspirations. If it's Moon, it could be that even females in your life are acting up a little bit, and this can make you a lot more detached. So you can feel just detached from certain situations, and as well as changing up where you live, moving. Your home environment could be undergoing a lot of changes. Whenever Uranus makes contact with a personal planet, there is a huge shift and change happening there. And it's really unexplainable. It's different for everybody, but it can just feel like you've got this sudden rush and you want things to change. You know, you're not happy with the way things are, and all of a sudden someone new comes in, a new job comes in. So a lot of exciting things coming to you in the 11th house area, and that means gains. Over the next 7 years, you can have a lot of gains, meet a lot of influential people who can help you achieve your goals. So be on the lookout if you are attracted to different people, different groups that you might want to join, because there could be new beginnings opening up for you in this area of life. On the 4th, Neptune also stations retrograde, so be on the lookout for learning some secrets or things being exposed to you were not aware of. During the first 2 weeks of July, we still have the Jupiter in Cancer square off with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, so there could be a lot of frustration still happening during the first 2 weeks. And because we have all these planets going retrograde in July, we are really rethinking and revising a lot of things going on in our lives. From the 1st to the 22nd, the Sun is in your 12th house, so you might be wanting to retreat a little bit more, do stuff behind the scenes, and some of you might be trying to really improve your health, your mental health. July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn. This is your 6th house of health, work, routine. In June, there was a new beginning, a new moon in your 12th house of your subconscious mind, your mental health, and now we are coming full circle, and you could be reaping the benefits of the changes you made in June. A time where you reach a health or wellness goal of yours, a start of a new job, hiring new employees, or maybe there are people at your work that are leaving, or if you own a business, this could be a time where you need to let go of certain employees. Your attention will now go to your health and lifestyle, Leo. All month long, you have Venus in your 11th house, and this is also where Uranus is. So the joy for you this month will actually come from friends, from hanging out with people, joining maybe groups, maybe charities, and even just talking online, maybe talking to your followers. This can be a time where you gain more followers. And if you are looking for love, then go out and mingle with your friends. You can even find a love within a friendship group, or a friend could introduce you to somebody. Mars is finally out of your sign, Leo, so you could breathe a sigh of relief. Now in July, Mars will be in your 2nd house all month long. So do be cautious, because this can lead to impulsive spending. It can even lead to family arguments, disagreements, or you might even say things you might later regret, because Mars is a harsh planet. You may also be more hungry. On the flip side, you could even actually want to start a diet regimen, or maybe even do a fast. That is what Mars in the 2nd house is capable of. And be careful of losing your possessions or damaging your possessions in some way, but it's going to feel so much better. You're not going to feel so under attack anymore, Leo, so this will be a sigh of relief for you. July 13th, Saturn will station retrograde in the beginning of your 9th house. It will go back into your 8th house for one last round of revising joint finances, business partnerships, loans, health insurance, premiums, paperwork. All that stuff might have to be gone over one more time. And the 9th house area, if you are traveling, there could be some hiccups when it comes to travel, schooling, immigration. So this is really a month to do a lot of revising, fine-tuning, going within, because on the 18th, we have Mercury stationing retrograde in your sign, Leo. So you could be rethinking your whole life path, your whole identity, maybe your look. You want to change up your style, your hairstyle. But of course, with all Mercury retrograde, make sure you are careful with any and all communication, as there could be a lot of miscommunication, things going haywire, electronics breaking down. Be careful of major purchases or doing anything major with your hair, your style, because you might regret it or want to change it up when Mercury stations direct. So try to be very flexible. Plans might change, not go the way you want, but this is also a time where we are really rethinking about all of our relationships, our friendships, all of our communication. And it's even a time where you may hear back from people you have not heard from in a while. On the 22nd, the sun goes into your sign, giving you more energy. You're going to be more motivated, wanting to go out, wanting to be seen. You're going to be more extroverted. Definitely after the 22nd, you are going to want to go out, mingle with other people. July 24th, we have a new moon in your sign, Leo. This is exactly where the sun is, and this is where Mercury stations retrograde. So there is a bit of revising, redoing, reconfiguring on this brand new beginning you are initiating, but it is a brand new beginning in your path in life, especially when it comes to you, your looks, your clothing, your hairstyle, your aesthetics, your health. You are initiating something new that over the next month you will be working towards. So this is a perfect time to really plan out. Maybe you want a new haircut, a new style. Maybe you want to go in a different direction in life. So it is a brand new beginning when it comes to you, yourself, and your path in life, but mostly your looks, your health. You are going to be starting something new that at first it might seem like you are redoing something, revising, but later it will turn out to be really great. A lot of times when a planet is retrograding, we are redoing something just so we can make it perfect. So you are definitely initiating something brand new when it comes to yourself. I hope it was helpful, Leo. Virgo, July will start off with, on July 4th, we have Uranus conjuncting with Venus at 29 degrees of Taurus. So right there at the end of your 9th house. If you're using whole signs, and this can mean that you meet somebody on a trip sporadically out and about, even in your town, or just if you're traveling, you can meet somebody online, maybe somebody foreign, and start a new relationship. Ups and downs in relationships, changes within relationships, and money is very possible July 4th and around that day. Also on that day, Neptune is stationing retrograde in your 8th house, and this can mean you uncover secrets, things being kept away from you, or you have some revelations about things that maybe you are processing. And it could be about an old relationship, it could be about money, about finances, contracts, anything like that. So be on the lookout for really seeing things for what they are in the beginning of July. And it is a month where all these planets are going retrograde. It is a month where we are reevaluating, reflecting, and going within and really thinking things through before we proceed. You can also meet somebody at work because Venus will be going into your 10th house where Uranus will be going into. So you can actually also meet somebody at work, and focusing on work and your public image will be very important to you this month. It will bring you actually a lot of joy, and you could be very well received at work and by the public. July 7th, this is huge. Uranus is entering your 10th house of career and public image, where it will stay for the next 7 years, bringing ups and downs in career. But this is mainly to give you authenticity. Uranus is our authenticity, what we truly are. So when you start thinking, I'm bored with this career, I don't want to do this, it's because it's trying to uncover who you truly are. And it's not uncommon to completely change careers or change things up so that you could be more independent within your career. Having a completely unusual career. I've seen people become journalists, travel vloggers, astrologers, tarot readers, something eccentric or something that gives you far more independence than you have now, or maybe just changing things up in your career. And this is really showing that a lot of Virgos will be having huge career changes because Pluto also entered your 6th house, where it is demanding that you completely change your daily routine, maybe even work that is more meaningful to you, more authentic with who you truly are, who you are at this time. If you do have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees of Gemini. Get ready to be completely changed from inside out. You may even start having anxiety, panic attacks, have a hard time sleeping, because Uranus is this like energy that is flowing through our body like electricity, just kind of changing our lives in a very sporadic, out of the blue way. Meeting somebody, changing your whole complete style, how you look, your career. So huge changes. Say you have Venus there. This can mean that you meet somebody, fall in love sporadically out of the blue. You never saw it coming. Your Sun, a huge career change you did not anticipate. Maybe even your looks, your health, completely changing your health routine. Male figures in your life could be acting up if it's a moon. It could be females in your life acting up. And this could mean that you have a more erratic home life at this time. So this can also mean that you are moving, planning a move, a sporadic move. And when Uranus makes contact with the moon, this can also mean that you feel very detached from situations, allowing you to leave situations easier. And if you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees in Virgo, Pisces, or Sagittarius, you can also see all these changes I'm talking about out of the blue, unexplainable changes happening in your life. But over the next 7 years, Uranus is trying to liberate you. When it comes to your career and public image, you can find sudden fame. This can also be a sudden downfall for some people. So changing jobs, getting laid off, and completely going with a new career is something that can happen for a lot of you. Uranus, also looking at your first house, will be bringing in changes to your appearance, how you appear. Looking at your fourth house, it will even make you move, change things around in your home. And looking at your seventh house can change your personal relationships, your client relationships, your business relationships. So a lot of shifts are coming to your career and public image, Virgo, and it starts right now in July. July 10th, we have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. In June, there was a new moon in Cancer, which was your 11th house. So if you began something new, we are now coming full circle, and you could be reaping the benefits when it comes to children, creativity, love, romance. Maybe a creative project that you've been working on gets shown to the public, because this is the 11th and 5th house axis. It is romance, it's children, it's the love we give, the love that we receive. This is an opportunity to release a creative project out into the world. And people can be receiving it well. Maybe you gain more followers, join a group of friends. Maybe people online start noticing your work. This, of course, could be an emotional ending with a romantic partner, spending more time with children, spending more time on hobbies, on creativity. But this really could just be that you gain a lot of happiness by releasing a creative project out into the world. The emphasis with this full moon will be on children, creativity, love, romance. It could be going from casual dating to a serious official relationship, an engagement for some of you. All month long, Virgo, you have Mars in your sign, bringing you a lot of energy, motivation to start and begin something new. But this is going to make you more argumentative, more impatient. You could be testing your relationships and even your business relationships. So be mindful of this. You may feel like people are picking on you and you might want to start fights. So the really constructive way of using Mars in the first house is to initiate something new. It's a perfect time to start a new workout regimen. But Mars also rules your 8th house of sudden transformation, and this is when you can begin this transformation. You are initiating something new, and this will stay with you for a really long time. So you are completely maybe changing up your look, your hairstyle, your aesthetics, how you react, how you deal with people. With Uranus going into your 10th house, this is a huge change for some of you. Maybe you want to completely be seen in a whole new way, in a whole new light. So just be careful, because you can be impatient. So also be more cautious so you don't get hurt, because when Mars is in the first house, we just want to go, go, go. We aren't thinking about the repercussions sometimes. And this is why you may get into more arguments, disagreements with people throughout the month of July. Or you're just more impulsive. On the 13th, we have Saturn going retrograde in your 8th house, also bringing up past hurts maybe that you are having to deal with, and you are now thinking of how to deal with them in a different way. This can also have something to do with joint finances, maybe with insurance policies, insurance plans, any kind of contracts that you have to go over and maybe revise your plans in some way. Saturn ruling over your fifth house of children, romance, creativity, and your sixth house of daily routines and health going retrograde also suggests that maybe you're changing up your diet regimen, your health routine. And there could be things when it comes to children and what they are doing that you need to go over. On the 18th, Mercury, your ruler, goes retrograde. And your ruler, Mercury, rules over your first house of you and your 10th house of your career and public image. And this is a time where you could be revising your career, what you want to do in your career. So there could be hiccups on the job, within the job, or maybe the people that you work with, something that you need to go over, perfect. And you may also feel like that about your look, about how you present yourself to the world. And of course, with Mercury retrograde, back up all your data. Be careful of any and all communication, as there can be a lot of miscommunication, electronics going haywire. Mercury does station retrograde in your 12th house. So this is a time where you need to be more cautious with your health, because you have Mars in the first house over your physical body, and Mercury, the planet that rules you, is in the 12th house. So you can be working on something behind the scenes, maybe trying to improve your health in some way. But this can also mean that you are dealing with some gossip about you, or some petty people, and as well as people that just want to bring drama into your life, and you just want to retreat away from it. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe even things from the past coming back into your life. That is what a retrograde in the 12th house can mean. It's a time you're going to need to be more flexible. Things may not go your way. You may need to redo things in a new way. And it is a time where we are really reevaluating all of our commitments, our friendships, our relationships. All the planets retrograde really makes us think of the past and what we can do better in the future. With the first 3 weeks of July, the sun being in your 11th house, you want to be more social, more goal-oriented. On the 22nd, though, the sun is going into your 12th house, where we have Mercury retrograde. So there's a big emphasis on 12th house issues at the end of the month. Maybe you are wrapping something up, putting an end to something. This is a time to watch your health a little bit more, pay attention to needing to change things around your health, a time where you might have a hard time sleeping, the past coming back into your life to be dealt with. It can be a time where you are dealing with a jealousy. July 24th, there is a new moon in Leo, and this is your 12th house, which is very much highlighted towards the end of the month, Virgo. So you want to really pay attention to what you want to end. This is a perfect time to get rid of things you no longer want or need, and maybe close out chapters that you have been ready to close out. This is a time where you could learn some secrets, start working on something behind the scenes. If you are working on something new, Virgo, this is the time, especially the middle to the end of the month, I would just hold it close to your vest and not reveal anything, because you can have a lot more jealousy, more gossipy people around you towards the end of the month. This new moon may bring up feelings of loneliness and isolation, or maybe you tackling why you do feel that way within your life. You might also be confronting your shadow side at this time. You are exploring your subconscious mind, so you can feel very much inspired to initiate new beginnings, especially when it comes to your health, your mental health, any kind of addictions. You may want and find a different ways to deal with them at this time. You may be initiating something. Maybe you hear about something, read about something, and you're implementing this into your life with this new moon in Leo. So this will lead you to spiritual practices, meditation, mindfulness, exploring being by yourself and what it is that you truly want and need. So it's a perfect time to really go within and find out what it is that you want. So the priority will be on rest and recharging and really getting rid of things in your life, even things that you do, how you get in your own way. And you're going to try to go about it in a different way. And with these planets retrograding all month long, this is the time to really rethink how you can live your life in a better, more constructive way. I hope that this was helpful for you, Virgo. Libra, let's get into your July forecast. On July 4th, Uranus is conjuncting with Venus, your planetary ruler, at 29 degrees of Taurus. This is the end of your 8th house. Suddenly falling in love could be a possibility, as well as coming into some money, or maybe even making a big change when it comes to your aesthetics. And then Venus goes into your 9th house, where discussions, philosophy, reading, school, and traveling will bring you a lot of joy through the month of July, as that is where Venus will be residing. Now, the big thing is Neptune is turning retrograde also on the 4th in your 7th house of romantic partnerships. This can be a time of confusion in romantic relationships, business partners, or any kind of contracts. There can be confusion and things revealed to you that you may have not seen or known before. So pay attention to your romantic relationships, as there could also be maybe people coming back from the past, or you just thinking, romanticizing something, and now something is revealed to you where you cannot look away. You have to really look at something as is. So there could be a lot of revelations when it comes to personal relationships this month for you, Libra. Confusion, or you looking at your partners in a more critical way, especially romantic relationships. With all these planets going retrograde in July, it is a good time to really reflect and review and not make any rash decisions we might regret later. July 7th, Uranus goes into the sign of Gemini. This is your 9th house of travel, schooling, any court and legal cases, immigration, the house of publishing, the house of teaching, where for the next 7 years, you may be open to meeting new and interesting people from all walks of life. Travel can have a huge impact on you, and you may actually be introduced to new teachings, new philosophies that change the way that you think about life, yourself. Some of you may actually be led to teaching yourself, teaching other people your views, your philosophies, or even publishing your work. And it could just be in the form of social media content. Now, personal planets in the sign of Gemini from 0 to 3 degrees, you guys will be having a Uranus conjunction. You can be feeling panicky, anxious, like electricity is flowing through you, and this can bring major changes into your life. So if it's Sun, you can actually feel an internal shift and change, like you want to leave everything behind, and all the things that mattered to you before will start not really meaning anything to you. It's like a new wave is coming over you. You may want to change your look, your career, everything. Venus, a new romantic relationship could pop out of the blue. If it is Moon, it means you could make a big drastic move. This can also mean that your emotions are up and down and you feel very detached from your home situation and you want things to change, or females in your life are acting erratic. This can also make your emotions come up in an erratic way where they're very up and down, a lot of mood swings. If it's Mars, it could be your actions are very unpredictable. And if you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees in Sagittarius, you will be having the Uranus opposition. So things happening out of the blue yet again. And if you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees in the sign of Virgo or Pisces, this will be the square aspect of Uranus, also bringing in erratic, unpredictable changes into your life. So some of you will be feeling a lot of big shifts and changes coming on, but really Uranus in the ninth house wants to expand your world view and make you come into your authentic self, your authentic beliefs. And it could do it in weird, unpredictable ways. You could be drawn to different studies, different teachers, mentors that help facilitate these new beliefs that you will be leaning into over the next 7 years. For the first 3 weeks, you have the sun in your 10th house. So a lot of you will be really focusing on the job, on your career, your public image. And if you are looking for love, you're single, with Venus in the ninth house, you may find it in a place of education when you are traveling. So this can be happening for some of you. In the first 2 weeks of July, we are still undergoing the Saturn and Neptune in Aries square off with Jupiter in Cancer. So if there are some frustrations coming up within you the first 2 weeks, this can be why. We are really reevaluating our whole lives. Really, a lot of us, especially with all these planets going retrograde July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn. This is your 4th house of home, family, mother, your inner security, your inner emotions, as well as conveniences such as your vehicle. At the end of June, you had a new moon in Cancer, initiating a very brand new beginning. And Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer. This is your 10th house of career and public image. If you started something, you initiated something in the month of June, we are coming full circle now, and you could be reaping the benefits of this. Maybe even moving for some of you, buying a new vehicle, but this can also mean that you are maybe selling a vehicle, redecorating, rearranging things in your house. So it is a perfect time to really go through your house and get rid of anything that you no longer need. There could be sensitive feelings that come up, maybe even endings for a lot of you. When it comes to the home, maybe you are completely saying goodbye to your old place and moving to a new place, or there is just changes within the family structure. This can be a time where maybe you are going through reliving just parts of your childhood. But for most of you, this will just be rearranging your furniture, getting rid of something in your home, or really celebrating some big achievements, either you or your family, because this is a very important access. So a lot of you can be now reaping the benefits of initiating something new when it comes to your career. All month long, Libra, you have Mars in your 12th house. This means that you might have a very hard time falling asleep. When you sleep, you can be reminded of things from the past, having dreams come up within you and these emotions coming up within you. And a lot of them might even bring some anger to you. This may also mean that there is some gossipy people around you gossiping about you. This can also mean that people from the past show up and situations from the past come into your life, and you will have to be confronted with this. On the 13th, Saturn stations retrograde in your 7th house. And this can further complicate personal relationships, even close friendships, but mostly romantic relationships, client relationships, business partnerships. There could be something that you have to renegotiate. This can also be a time where you finally see the things in your relationships that are not working. So for some of you, you will be led to take action, maybe even end a relationship. Some of you will just have to smooth out problems in existing relationships. And this can be a time where your partner, your spouse has more issues going on and they are leaning more on you, especially those of you who are married, who are coupled. On the 18th, Mercury stations retrograde. So all the Mercury retrograde stuff applies. Make sure you are very careful with communication. Be flexible when traveling because plans can change. Back up any and all data because, electronics can go haywire. Everything can go haywire when Mercury is retrograding. And this retrograde is happening in your 11th house. So some friends that you have may be revealed for exactly who they are. There may be disagreements with friends or within groups that you belong to. Maybe even falling out with friends. This can also mean that friendships from the past come back into your life somehow. And it could just mean that friendships in general are challenging. So for a lot of you, Libra, it can seem like all personal relationships are challenging. You are really rethinking everything. And at night, when you fall asleep, you are thinking about it all and going over it in your head. So it may seem like relationships can stress you out in the month of July. And a lot of you will just choose to focus on work, on your career. On the 22nd, this is where the sun will go into your 11th house and you will put more focus on your friendships, your future plans, your goals. On the 24th, we have a new moon in Leo, and this is your 11th house of groups, friendships, also your hopes and dreams, your future goals. This is where Mercury stations retrograde. You are initiating a new goal for the future. This can also mean new friendships, new people that introduce you to something new. There may be some struggles or things that you need to overcome at first, because this is where Mercury stations retrograde. So while there is a brand new beginning and gains coming into your life, it may seem like it's not happening right away. So it will all work out in the end. This means that you are meeting new friends, a new social group. You may feel more positive, optimistic towards the end of the month, like you can visualize your goals coming together. And if you are on social media, this is a time where you may be gaining a bigger following, more followers coming to you, more people showing you a lot of appreciation. I hope that this was helpful, Libra. Scorpio, July starts out with July 4th. We're having a Venus conjunct Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. This is right at the end of your 7th house. So this can mean a business partnership comes to you out of the blue, new customers, new clients if you own a business, or even a sporadic romance blossoms around this time. This may even bring some ups and downs in current relationships. Neptune will station retrograde on the 4th in your 6th house, and this can be a time where you are going over matters when it comes to bills, when it comes to organization, health, and work. There could be some things that you uncover about your job, on the job, people that you work with. If you own a business, you could be uncovering some things that maybe you did not see before. July 7th, Uranus will go into Gemini. This is your 8th house of transformation, the house of shared resources, and this is a time where over the next 7 years you will experience changes when it comes to diving deep into research, the psyche, but this is also personal transformation and joint finances. So it could be that finances go up and down, or that maybe all of a sudden you have more finances, your partner or spouse starts making more money, you start bringing more money. It could also go down to where you feel like there's less money. It could be that maybe you always relied on your partner and now you're relying on yourself, or vice versa. So your finances could completely shift, especially when it's joint finances, business partnerships, your contracts, insurance policies. This is also the house of inheritance. Uranus is unpredictable energy. Things that happen out of the blue, things we do not plan for, things we do not even see coming. And now starting in July, if you do have any planets from 0 to 3 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces, Uranus will be making contact with this planet. If it's Venus, you could suddenly fall in love, come into some money, completely change your aesthetics, completely change what you like. If it's Sun, you can actually start feeling like your old identity is no longer aligned with you. You want to leave everything behind. You want to change your career, change your look. Male figures in your life can be acting in erratic ways. If it's Moon, it could be female figures acting in erratic ways, and you also becoming very detached emotionally. A sporadic move, wanting to move. So your feelings could also be very up and down. So you always want to watch when Uranus is conjuncting, squaring, or opposing a personal planet, as that's where it will matter most. But right now, you could be really deep diving for the next 7 years into astrology, psychology, the psyche, and finding completely different ways to deal with business and money. All month long, Venus will be in your 8th house. So what will bring you joy is diving deep into the psyche, research, uncovering things. This can also mean that maybe you want to change up your look in some way, deepen your intimacy. And of course, this is really great if you need to or want to benefit from other people's money, such as getting a loan for something, getting approved for something you've been wanting to. July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn. And in late June, we had a new moon in Cancer where you could have initiated new studies or maybe planning a trip. And now we are coming full circle. And you could be reaping the benefits of this, maybe traveling. You could be actually having long-awaited conversations with people in your life, maybe even your siblings, your close friends. You may be inspired to learn something new. This can also be a time where you finally master a skill, master something that you have been learning. This can also mean that your community, your town is changing. Maybe the places that you used to frequent, you used to go to are closing, new ones are opening. So it can feel like the things in your immediate environment are changing, and there could also be things coming up in the lives of your siblings. Something in their life is changing, or your relationship dynamic is changing in some way. This can also mean that you need to replace some electronics, but this full moon is going to put a focus on your skills, your efforts, your communications, and any travel plans that you may have. All month long, Scorpio, you have Mars, your ruler, in the 11th house. So you are really focused on your goals. This can be a time where maybe you are joining new groups, new friendships. At the same time, Mars in the 11th can lead to arguments, disagreements within friendship circles, disagreements with an older sibling, or any groups that you belong to online. You may not see eye to eye, but it is really great for working towards your goals. On the 13th, Saturn will station retrograde in your 6th house. So you are really reflecting on your health, your day-to-day habits. And this can bring in some problems in the workplace or with employees, with coworkers, misunderstandings, and you might have to reevaluate a lot of things. If you are a business owner, you might have to reevaluate employees. On a personal level, you could be reevaluating all your bills, maybe totally reconfiguring your life, changing up your diet, changing up your schedule. It is really a month where we are going within, we are rethinking everything. July 18th, Mercury stations retrograde in your 10th house of career and public image, and this is a time where you might have to rethink a work project. Maybe you are redoing something when it comes to work, and for you, especially Scorpio, be very careful with any and all communication, contracts, especially if you are dealing with the public, with bosses, people of authority, because there could be miscommunication. There could also be electronics breaking down, and so you want to also remain very flexible with your plans, back up your data. It is a time you could be reflecting on your career moves. On the 22nd, the sun goes into your 10th house, putting a spotlight on your career and public image. And on the 24th, we have a new moon in the sign of Leo, your 10th house of career and public image. So big emphasis on career. Towards the end of the month, Scorpio, this can mean new opportunities for work promotions, you making big moves when it comes to your career. Now, because Mercury does go retrograde in your 10th house, this can mean that before everything goes smoothly, there is some things that you need to go over. Maybe even redo certain work projects, especially if you are working on your own business, a website, anything like that. There can be some things you need to redo, revise. But this full moon is going to be putting a spotlight on you. New beginnings when it comes to your career, big career moves towards the end of the month. You're going to be all hyped up and working towards your future goals. This can bring a lot of attention to you as well. I hope that this was helpful, Scorpio. Sagittarius, July 4th, you are going to have Uranus conjuncting with Venus towards the end of your 6th house, right at the end at 29 degrees there. And this can mean that maybe you find love in the workplace, or maybe you come into some money, or maybe you're completely changing your looks. Now, July 7th, this is the big one. Uranus is making its way into Gemini, where it will stay for the next 7 years. And this will change up your personal relationships, business relationships, clients, friends, as well as romantic partnerships. Over the next 7 years, your relationships may seem more erratic, chaotic, or you meeting somebody, falling in love out of the blue. And this could also be ending a relationship out of the blue, or maybe your partner leaves you, you leave your partner, you start a new relationship. Uranus is trying to really free you. So there can be a lot more new and interesting people coming your way. So if you are single, this can be exciting. This does make partnership a little bit harder because Uranus is that changeable energy and it's really unpredictable. You may even form partnerships with people that are completely different to your usual type. That is what can attract you at this time as Uranus is transiting your 7th house. Now, if you do have planets or your rising sign is from 0 to 3 degrees Sagittarius, or you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees in Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, starting July, you are going to have Uranus influencing those planets. If it's Venus, you can run into somebody and just fall in love sporadically. This can also mean that you are ending a relationship or maybe taking a relationship to the next level. Big changes to relationships, money, and aesthetics. If it's Moon, females in your life could be acting more erratic, moving, or changes within the home. And your moods could be up and down a lot. If it's Sun, it is your look. You can completely change your style, your career, and males in your life could be acting in a more erratic way. Over the next 7 years, Uranus is going to completely change your love life. So if you have been single for a long time, this may be a time where you find yourself in a romantic partnership, or vice versa. So there is a lot of changes coming to you in the area of partnerships, romantic relationships. This month, Venus is in your 7th house, and that means that is where the joy will come from, connecting with other people. If you are single, this is a great time to go out and meet somebody new. This can also mean that more clients are coming to you if you own a business. In the beginning of the month, Neptune turns retrograde in your 5th house, and if there is something that you are unclear of when it comes to your creative projects, the people that you are dating, your children, they could be made clear right now. July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn. So you could be making some financial changes. There could be changes to your routine, to your job. You could also be letting go of certain possessions in your house, selling some possessions. The last new moon in Cancer at the end of June was you initiating something new when it comes to money, joint finances, insurance policies. And now you're going to be reaping the benefits of this. So for some of you, this can mean a financial goal is reached. You feel that you are more confident in yourself. So you could also be letting go of certain attachments or expectations that you have around finances at this time, or buying yourself something that you have been really wanting to buy. All month long, Sagittarius, you have Mars in your 10th house, signifying that you could get a raise, a promotion, advancement within your career. You are really working hard career-wise this month. Can mean that there is problems with bosses, superiors, people of authority, or people at work could be pissing you off this month, Sagittarius. July 13th, Saturn will station retrograde in your 5th house. So both Saturn and Neptune retrograding in your 5th house shows me that there is a big focus on children, love, creativity, your creative projects, your investments. People you dated in the past can reach out to you, or there can be more challenges when it comes to to investments, children, or your relationship with your children, they could just be more difficult. On the 18th, Mercury stations retrograde in your ninth house of higher education, spirituality, and this is also the house of travel. So travel plans may change, especially if you are traveling, or maybe there is more that you need to know. When it comes to school, when it comes to any legal case, any legal matters, passport, or any immigration issues. So things can be up in the air. Maybe you are learning something new and you need to dig a little bit deeper and make some adjustments to a class, a course that you are taking, or a publishing deal. And for you, Sagittarius, Mercury rules your 10th house of career and public image and your 7th house of romantic relationships, business partners. So this tells me that you could actually be hearing back from those you used to date, or maybe you are thinking of them, you're thinking of the past. This can also mean that there is a work project that you might need to redo, revise, or things might be up in the air, maybe with your work schedule, any kind of business contracts. And of course, with all Mercury retrograde, be very flexible as plans may change. Back up all your data. This can be a time where electronics break down or just communication is a miss and people misunderstand each other. So there can be a lot of misunderstandings. With all these planets going retrograde, it is a month of retreating a little bit, revising, reevaluating our relationships, personal and professional. So just going within and really thinking things through. July 24th, there is a new moon in Leo. So on the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo, highlighting your 9th house. And this new moon could give you a lot of clarity, a clear vision for what you want for your future. You could be initiating maybe a publishing deal, or maybe working on social media, or trying to publish your work in some way, as well as maybe beginning a course of studying something that will help you reach your goals, and maybe even come across content or a book that really opens up more knowledge for you. Some of you may even be making very big future plans for yourself, taking a trip, planning a trip for some of you, and this can also be applying for a passport, immigration paperwork. You are initiating maybe a big move abroad or somewhere far away. With Mercury retrograding in this area, there could be a sense that you need to do a lot, revise your plans before you take action. You could be making a lot of mental adjustments, or even having a big spiritual breakthrough around the end of July. I hope that this was helpful, Sagittarius. Capricorn, we're going to start off the month with the fact that Uranus is coming together with Venus at the end of your 5th house, which could signify a new blossoming romance, something exciting in your children's lives, or a new creative project you didn't even foresee. Uranus kind of makes things happen sporadic, out of the blue. Also on the 4th, going into the 5th, Neptune will station retrograde in your 4th house of home, family, mother, vehicles. And this could be a time where maybe you need to make repairs in the home, repairs on your vehicle. You could also be learning information about your family, your house, your lease that you were not aware of before. So really pay attention, because when Neptune is retrograde, the mist, the rose-colored glasses are unveiled, and you cannot unsee it. You really see any and all deception. So if someone has been untruthful with you, you can really see it for what it is. Now, the huge thing, July 7th, over the next 7-8 years, you will have Uranus in your 6th house of daily routines, work, and health. And this means that over the next 8 years, your whole routine system is going to change. It's not going to stay the same. It will probably change a few times before it leaves your 6th house. So you may be changing up your whole diet regimen, your health routine, your workout routine, your organizations, your bills, how you pay bills. And this can also mean that if you own a business, employees could come and go, maybe not be as reliable. And the same thing goes with coworkers. Your coworkers could be changing a lot more, and it could just be a little bit more erratic in the workplace. But at the same time, it could make things exciting. If you do have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees in Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, you will feel Uranus already in July. and it's going to shake things up sporadically out of the blue. You can feel like you have a lot of anxiety within you, and things are just changing at a rapid pace. Unexplainably, say it's Venus, then it could be you suddenly meeting somebody, falling in love, feeling like you were swept off your feet. Or even a sudden breakup can happen. Now, if it's moon, it could be females that are acting erratically around you, and big mood swings you could be having, as well as moving or really shifting everything in your home around. If it's sun, it's your image, your career could be sporadically changing. Starting in July, you're going to see that your health, your routine, and even your work-life balance is really changing up. July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn in your first house of self. So maybe you are letting go of an identity, a personality trait. This can also be a time where you could be letting go of any bad and negative habits that you may have. New experiences in your life can now make you want to completely change and shift your life. At the end of June, we have the beautiful new moon in Cancer, where you might have been initiating a new romantic relationship, a business partnership, signing new contracts, and now we're coming full circle, and all of this is making you change the way you want to be. Whether it is a new relationship, letting go of a relationship, or maybe just the idea of dating altogether is completely changing who you are. For those of you who are married or coupled, a spouse or partner could have actually helped you initiate this change, and now you want to completely change maybe even the way that you look and let go of an old identity. A lot of you in the middle of July are ready for a huge life change. Some of you want to change your look, your aesthetic, and some of you, your whole life path, where you're going. Around the 10th, during this full moon, you are going to have a lot of realizations of how you want your life to go. If you are looking for love, places that you frequent every day, and even work on the job, because Venus is in your 6th house for most of the month, and this tells me you're going to be really enjoying better work relationships, maybe starting a new workout program, getting organized. Mars is in your 9th house all month long, so you could actually be traveling or planning a trip. But there could be some disagreements with teachers, people of authority even. Publishing your work, learning something new, or seeking out to learn something new, a new skill that you want to perfect. Now, on the 13th, Saturn will also retrograde in your 4th house of home and family. So there could be some things in the home that need to be fixed, they're breaking down, and there could be a lot of miscommunication within the family, within the home. So this is where the challenges could come from, is the 4th house, your home, your family, as well as your vehicles, whether it is that something needs to be repaired or just family can bring you a lot more stress in the month of July, even August, actually, Capricorn. On the 18th, Mercury stations retrograde. So it is a month of retrogrades. It's a month of reviewing, reanalyzing our relationships. And as always, with Mercury going retrograde, make sure you are very careful with any and all communications. Back up your data and be flexible to plans completely changing. Things may not go as planned. And Mercury does station retrograde in your 8th house, which is really highlighted this month anyways for you, Capricorn. So you could be redoing things when it comes to how you share energy, how you share resources with your partner, business partner. You could be dealing, some of you, with an inheritance, a divorce, or a court case judgment, filling out paperwork for insurance policies, for loans, and things might need to be redone, reanalyzed. You may have to go somewhere else for something. This can also signify a time where you are going back on everything that you have been through and really digging deep into the psyche and doing a lot of the healing work. On the 22nd, the sun will go into your 8th house, really highlighting this 8th house area, because on the 24th, we have a new moon in Leo, which is your 8th house. So new beginnings related to shared resources, contracts, loans, maybe even inheritances. This can also be you seeking out astrology, therapy, deep diving into psychological issues, issues with finances as well. This could be a time where you could be bonding with a new romantic partner, or just deepening your bond with a romantic partner. working out taxes, working out some kind of payment plans. This can also be where maybe your partner or spouse is initiating something new when it comes to how you share your resources together, how you do things together like that. With Mercury retrograding in this area, it tells me that maybe there is something that you have to reanalyze when it comes to psychological issues, shared resources, money, how you share time and energy with other people. I hope that this was helpful, Capricorn. Aquarius, July will start out with the fact that on July 4th, we have Venus coming together with Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus, right at the end of your fourth house. For some of you, this can actually just be rearranging, redecorating your home in a more unusual way, money coming to you, or maybe even finding love in your neighborhood, or some new and exciting changes coming into the home. Also on the 4th, Neptune will station retrograde in your third house of siblings, self-effort, skill sets. So this can be a time where you need to really reevaluate how you are promoting yourself, your skills and skill sets. And if there's been anything hidden from you, anything you didn't see clearly when it comes to the relationship with your neighbors, your siblings, you can now gain a lot more clarity. There can be a lot of confusion this month, a lot of things said that is misinterpreted because this month we have 3 planets going retrograde. It is a month to really go within and reevaluate, reanalyze all of our connections. The big thing is July 7th, Uranus is going into the sign of Gemini. This is your 5th house of creativity, romance, children, and for the next 7-8 years, sudden, unexpected romance, falling in love, falling out of love. So this can bring a little bit of instability into the love life. Now, this can even mean sudden pregnancy for some of you. Your children may act up in unpredictable ways or maybe get into unpredictable scenarios for some of you. And this can also mean new and exciting romances, new and exciting hobbies, new ways to have fun, as well as your investments could be going up and down. Uranus brings in the energy of impulsiveness, excitement, but also brings in chaos and instability. Really pay attention to any good ideas that are coming to you because you could come up with amazing creative ideas, turning them into great hobbies or businesses. Starting July, if you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees in Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces, you can feel Uranus transit right now. So you have a Venus there from 0 to 3 degrees in those signs. You can suddenly fall in love, maybe even suddenly part ways with a romantic partner, or just really completely change your aesthetics. If it's Sun, then male figures in your life may be acting in a more erratic way. You can completely change your image, your career goals. If it's Moon, you may seem very detached or very moody. At the same time, this can give you a big move, a sporadic move, changes within the homes or female figures in the family. When Uranus is going over your Sun or Venus, it's very, very exciting and new and interesting people will come into your life. Uranus is going to show you your authentic self in the area that it is transiting. So it is already there and now it's going to manifest through your actions, your hobbies, your romances, your children. So you're going to find new creative ways to express yourself. July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn, your 12th house of your subconscious mind, the house of losses. It is also the house of things happening behind the scenes you're not aware of. This is a time where if there's been people gossiping about you, this may finally be released and you may even let go of painful memories. This is an excellent time to let go of any and old bad habits. Get over any past traumas, past betrayals, and just let it go, release it. This is a full moon to really focus on your mental well-being. The 12th house is our mental health. This is a time where you just might feel more introverted. You want to go within and just spend more time on your own. But it is really a time where a lot of you could just be benefiting from all the work that you've been putting into your mental health, into your health. And now you are seeing the rewards of how much better you feel. This full moon is really all about your mental well-being and what you do to keep yourself healthy. All month long, Venus will be in your fifth house, which is really great for romance. If you are single, go out and mingle, try to meet somebody new. With Uranus also being in your fifth house, there could be an exciting new blossoming relationship coming into your life. This is also a month where you're really going to enjoy. This is also a month you're going to love hanging out with your children and maybe even start a creative project that you really love, you really enjoy. This is a month to have fun, Aquarius. With Mars being in your eighth house all month long, you could be dealing with issues of the past, maybe even psychological issues that you need to release, and issues around money and joint finances could come up to the forefront to be dealt with. So this can even cause a little bit of arguments between you and a partner about how you spend money, what you spend money on. July 13th, Saturn will retrograde in your third house, and this is where Neptune is also retrograding in July. July 13th, Saturn will station retrograde. So you're going to have Saturn and Neptune retrograding in your third house. So be careful of arguments, disagreements with siblings. There could be something that you are seeing now that you didn't before when it comes to the relationship with your siblings. This is a time where you might not know which way to go when it comes to your skill sets, ambitions, issues with learning something new. And while you have Saturn in your third house, you'll notice that you can be a little bit more pessimistic about life or even speak in a more negative way. So that is something to watch for. So there could be more challenges, especially when it comes to acquiring a new skill or trying to initiate something new. And of course, maybe even something more difficult happening in the lives of your siblings, or your relationship seems more difficult. So that is what can present a challenge in the month of July. July 18th, Mercury will station retrograde in your seventh house of business partners, clients, romantic relationships. This can mean for some of you that somebody from the past shows up, or maybe you are just really thinking about them, thinking about your past relationship. This can also be that new work contracts need to be redone, signed, or maybe even certain business partners that you work with, you need to go over the nitty-gritty and change a few things up. So be careful when signing any contracts or making any big agreements, because with Mercury retrograde, things can change. This can even signify for some of you that old business partners come into your life, old clients you might see again. But with Mercury retrograde, there could be a lot of miscommunication. So be open and flexible to plans changing. Be very cautious with any and all communication. And of course, back up your data. Electronics could go haywire at this time. And also, if you are making any huge purchases, make sure you really think things through, because when Mercury goes direct, you may change your mind. July 22nd, the sun moves into your seventh house of relationships. And on the 24th, a new moon in Leo in your seventh house of relationships could be the beginning of a romantic relationship. This can be a time where new clients are coming to you. If you own a business, signing new contracts, new business partnership, you may be getting serious with a partner, taking your relationship to the next level. This is a time where you are understanding yourself better through the eyes of the mirror, your partner, your relationships. This may also signify new competitors, new competition coming your way. And with Mercury retrograding in the seventh house, for some of you, it may actually be getting back together with an old partner, communicating with somebody that you used to date, them reaching out to you, somebody from the past showing up into your life, Aquarius, and you might decide to give this another go. Or maybe revising certain business partnerships, certain client relationships. This does bring in a sense of, while it is new and something new is blossoming, you might have to really rethink things through and reanalyze what exactly you want out of this situation. For some of you, it could even be revising a divorce or custody settlement, or revising work contracts. I hope that this was helpful, Aquarius. Pisces, July is a packed month. On July 4th, Uranus is coming together with Venus at 29 degrees of Pisces. This is the end of your third house, so there could be some new initiative when it comes to promoting yourself, social media, learning a new skill, maybe even meeting somebody, falling in love in the community or even in your hometown. Could be unpredictability in relationships or with money. Also on the 4th, Neptune will station retrograde in your second house of income, self-esteem. So if there are things when it comes to financial matters that you are not aware of, you can spot them now. If there has been any confusion with family, with possessions, with the money going in, the money coming out, right now you can maybe sift through all of this and make your financial situation work a little bit better for you, for wherever you are at right now. But there can still be issues, challenges that come up in the area of self-esteem, the money that you make, the possessions that you own. The huge thing for July is that July 7th, Uranus is going into the sign of Gemini. And for you, this is the 4th house of home, family, mother, your inner security, your inner needs. Uranus is excitement, unpredictability, chaos. At the same time, it is a renewed hope. It's like that change you didn't even know you needed or wanted. Freedom, excitement, chaos, all of that is what Uranus is. And over the next 8 years, maybe there is going to be a sudden move, additions to the family, people moving, maybe you redecorating in a whole new way. Instability to your core, to your emotions, to your home life, to your family life. The relationship you have with your mother and your family members may undergo some changes. Wanting more independence, an unconventional family life, unconventional home, unconventional relationships, having children, having grandchildren, but Uranus will really just be playing there in the background. But the most important is when Uranus is conjunct, oppose, or square a personal planet, where you're really going to see the shifts and changes taking place in your life. Those of you with personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces, if you are a Pisces rising from 0 to 3 degrees, you will feel this because it will square your rising sign. You guys will feel this right now starting July. Say you have Venus there, it could be suddenly falling in love, changing your aesthetics, changing your home around, moving, marriage, divorce. If it's Sun, male members of your family may be acting more erratic. A new image, a new career, if feeling like you are leaving behind your old identity, that you don't even recognize it anymore, maybe even wanting to leave it all behind, start afresh, start something completely different. If it is your moon, female members in the family may be acting more erratic, or you may find yourself extremely detached from family members. New unexpected events in the life of your mother, pregnancy, relocation, a move, and you could be very moody. When Uranus is making contact with a personal planet, you could feel like you have a lot of anxiety, maybe even panic attacks, because you could feel like almost like electricity is coming to you. You are becoming your authentic self, and there's a lot of sudden changes. It's unpredictable. A lot of twists and turns that are coming into your life. So those of you who have planets from 0 to 3 degrees, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, Pisces, may be experiencing that this summer. But overall, Uranus is going to be bringing some changes into your home sector, into your home life, into your close relationships over the course of the next 8 years. July 10th, there is a full moon in Capricorn. This is your 11th house of groups, friendships, organizations. It's also the house where you receive the love from other people, from your followers, even on social media. And at the end of June, we had that new moon in Cancer where Jupiter is. Maybe you initiated something creative and put out a creative project, and now you are reaping the benefits of this through a bigger following, through more recognition. There can be some dramatic endings in your social life, or maybe some endings with a friendship. Maybe you are letting go of friendships, groups that you belong to that you no longer connect with on the same level, and you want to release that. But for a lot of you, this is going to be celebrating accomplishments, finally gaining the recognition that you have been really wanting. All month long, you have Venus in your 4th house, so this is really great for family relationships, and you can really enjoy yourself in the home. Date night, cooking, redecorating your house, or just hanging out with your family is what is going to bring you joy. Pisces, you also have Mars all month long in your 7th house of romantic relationships. Business partnerships, clients. So those of you who own a business, your clients may seem a little bit needy. And this is also when relationships require a lot more attention. There can be arguments and disagreements with romantic partners. Your partner or spouse could be going through a lot and they are leaning on you a little bit more, but this can cause some tension within personal relationships. And this is really all month long. And Mars is coming together with the South Node. So you can feel like situations from the past are coming up to be resolved within your relationships or partnerships. July 13th, Saturn will station retrograde in your 2nd house of self-esteem, your money, your possessions. This can be a time where you are fine-tuning, going over your bills, where your money goes, and really rethinking what and how you want to spend your money. This can bring up family disagreements from the past to the forefront to be dealt with, or you could be just having your eyes open to financial situations within the home, within the family. The way that you make money may change, or on the job schedules may change. You may even feel like you need a new job, a different job, or an extra side hustle in your life. For some of you, you may even be wanting to release, let go of possessions that no longer bring you any joy, you no longer need, you don't want to use. So you may be even thinking about streamlining your finances and how to really do that, how to go about that. July 18th, Mercury will station retrograde. So of course, be careful with any and all communication. Back up any and all of your data and be flexible to plans completely changing. Mercury retrograde can bring up a lot of misunderstandings, people not really seeing eye to eye. So it is really important that you just really go over everything that you said, especially with emails. Mercury will station retrograde in your 6th house. So for you, you could be going over matters of health, work, and also routine, finding new and different ways to really make things work in your daily life. And this for you could also signify maybe having to let go of employees or new employees coming into your workplace, changes within the workplace. And for you, Pisces, Mercury rules the 4th house of home, family, mother, and your 7th house of romantic relationships, business partnerships. So you guys could be going over work contracts, renegotiating work contracts, renegotiating a lease where you live, maybe really thinking about wanting to move. This can also have something to do with your vehicle, your family, your relationship with your mother. There could be misunderstandings in that area. There could also be misunderstandings with a romantic partner. And for some of you, this could even mean you need to find new ways to deal with enemies or opponents of yours. With all these planets going retrograde, we are really going within and reanalyzing any and all of our close relationships and how to make things work better. So it is a month where a lot of us can feel a lot of pressure, frustrations, and setbacks. On the 22nd, the sun will go into your 6th house. And on the 24th, the new moon in Leo in your 6th house is really highlighting your 6th house at the end of the month. This can be you working on a new diet regimen, maybe a new workout program, really focusing and working on your health. There could also be you hiring new employees if you own a business, new employees coming to work with you within your workspace as well, implementing new healthy routines into your daily life. Some of you even getting a new pet, buying a new car, or developing new and better relationships with your colleagues. Some of you may even be going to find a new gym, a new doctor, a new dentist, a new hairdresser. Things like that could be going on at the end of July. Now, with Mercury retrograding in this area, there may be some indecision or having to do things over or trying out a few different things before you settle on a way that you want to proceed. I hope that you found this helpful. Like and subscribe for more.